Three, two, one. So it's bonus stuff, everyone. We just got done talking Ahsoka 3, 4, and 5. Jared, did you have any quick thoughts on those episodes?
I really liked five. I don't remember the other two.
Okay, there you go. You like Anakin?
Yeah.
All right. That seems to be the consensus. So I've been dealing with a different kind of war, not in the stars, but in my house. Um, so it starts like this. I bought a TV on Black Friday. One of these days. It's been a while. It's been a couple of years. I liked it. For the first year, it was a good, reliable television. And then the trouble started happening. I got home and I turn on my TV and I'm gonna like make some food before I turn on my Xbox. So it's there on, and then all of a sudden it changes to the streaming channel. And I'm like, what the heck? So I turn it back to the input because I usually have it on my Xbox input. Turn it back there, and it counts down like 5 seconds, and it changes it back to the streaming channel. I'm like, what the heck? So, so I turn on the Xbox, go back to normal. So to find out, whenever I turn off the Xbox and it's not in the input, the TV automatically turns it back to the streaming channel. So this is not good. This makes me kind of angry. Um, so I fight with that a little bit, and then at one point I had to change my router because I need a new router. So I got a new router. So I to like make my TV angry, I refused to put in my to hook it up back to the streaming channel. So now it's just a blank black screen. But it's still it'll turn it back to that input if I don't turn on my Xbox right away. So that it angers me. I hate it. Because I like to leave it on that input so I can just turn on my Xbox and start playing. So now the TV has thrown and it does this thing where sometimes it won't even count down to 5 because usually it counts down to 5. And if you don't put on the Xbox, I'm going to change it. Sometimes it won't even count down. It feels it's on an empty screen. It goes right to the streaming channel. I'm like,
Joseph,
oh
Joseph,
yeah,
it's right behind you.
I know. It knows it's talking about. So the new volley it's thrown at me is now um I was playing Xbox and I was done, but I like to leave my Xbox on the home screen sometimes, as you do, like go for a walk and then come back. So I leave it there, but I turn off my TV. But what does it do? It turns back on, and I turn it off, and it turns back on, and I'm like, what are you doing? So apparently, I put it in some kind of mode that whenever the Xbox on, the TV has to be on. I can't turn off the TV and have the Xbox on at the same time. So
Mine
now,
does that.
does it? I think it's an Xbox thing, but I don't know.
I think it's
So,
like a. Well, no, anyway, go for it.
so yeah, that's been my war with my TV. I'm waiting to see how it's going to get back at me again now that I won't turn on the Xbox and if I turn off the TV. So we'll see. So that just brings me to a simple question: if you guys have battled any technology or any remind any memorable stories of technology gone wrong. I know, Michael, you just built a computer. How did that go?
True. Computer went fine. Computer, no problems. Computer. You know my issue with technology, Joseph. You know my issue when I moved into this house, and we have what used to be Suddenlink is now called Optimum.
Oh yeah.
Was the only service provider in my neighborhood, and so and I call them up. I'm like, hey, or didn't even call them up. They had a website, fill it out. Hey, want internet at my house? Internet at my house. They're like, great. Pick the highest one. Yeah, it's not fiber, unfortunately. They do have fiber here now. I might get it eventually, but at the time they did not. And come out, set up, everything's great, whatever. Start getting back to it, try again, try and stream, playing Warzone with you guys. And, you know, as you guys know, I would just start running off random directions or cutting out every 5 seconds. I was like, what the heck's going on? Bought a brand new router, have a brand new router, brand new modem, everything's great. like, man, maybe it looked up online. It was like, hey, sometimes these modems can be bad. You can just swap it out. It's like, okay, I'll go get a different one, swap that out. Didn't fix it. Obviously, had Suddenlink come out. This was right, kind of getting close to the end of COVID, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was still, but it was still like Suddenlink was trying to make everyone get the vax, but no one wanted to. So half of them quit. So they were contracting a lot of people out. And so just contract after contractor came to my house. They're all like, "Oh, I'm gonna fix this. Don't you worry, man. We've seen this 100 times. I'm gonna change the plug in your room, man." I'm like, "It's not the plug in my room. No, it's the plug in your room. I promise you. I promise you." I'm like, "I've tested everywhere else. It's not the plug in my room." Leaves. Obviously, it wasn't the plug in my room. This happens many times where I'm like, I have looked up and researched more than any of you know about any of this stuff. I promise you, it's not anything you're saying it is. So it
One
comes
of
to the
those
point.
guys was really confident. I remember. He
Oh,
was like,
he-
"I
that,
got
that
this,
was the guy.
man."
That was the wall plug guy. He was beyond. He was like, "You will never see us again." Like that's basically what he said. He was like, "This is a done deal, sir. You're welcome. Goodbye." I was like, cool. And like 3 or 4.
I would have desperately asked for his private contact information. Like,
This-
guess what, Charlie? You're gonna see me again.
I'm getting that, Thomas. At least 3 of them gave me their private work phones.
Oh,
3 of them. They're like, "Hey, any issues? Just hit us up. We'll get back to you." I texted every single one of those mother effers, and no one texted me back ever. Not once. It was just like this like kindness thing gesture they were doing. Never got a response from any of them. So it comes
big
to the point
numbers.
where
They wanted the
100%.
They wanted you to do that survey and give them 5
apparently
stars.
they wanted something. I don't know. They're contractors. Did they even get a survey? I don't know. So it just came to the point where I was literally going to the Suddenlink place after work every single day until one day I get home and the internet was finally working. And I guess it was the frequency of some RFOG machine on the outside of the building. I don't know what that means. I didn't do
They
research
forgot
on
to
that
turn
stuff.
it on.
They didn't hit the power button. No, like they literally replaced everything, and it was apparently some frequency that was off. And I had someone else that was supposed to come out that evening. I messaged her like, "Did someone come out this afternoon?" She's like, "Yes." It's like, "Do not send anyone else. No one touches this because it is working." And ever since then, I have not
It is
had
a
a single.
delicate ecosystem.
Like I barely have to restart my. I think they like have me check marked as "Don't mess with this internet" because this guy will drive us crazy. Because I was there literally every day. I was like, I'm
He
back
went down there.
every day,
Sure.
man. In COVID, so I had a mask on and everything. I'm sitting there, I'm like, "It's not fixed. Fix it." Like
I
was,
remember
oh my God.
that
I
because
was
we
so-
played a ton of COD back
Oh,
then.
it was 6 months, man. 6 months with bad internet. I was so mad, dude. Oh my gosh.
You're just like, get me back at my parents' house.
So I was pissed, man.
I
But
don't even remember when you fixed it. It's just
yeah,
I
we
guess
basically stopped playing. But
yeah.
and I was like, well, that's cool. But yeah. So yeah, that's my long ranted one. I probably have plenty of others, but yeah, I'll let you guys go.
Anyone else got a tech rant?
I don't really have much fight
Well, you're-
with technology.
You don't?
No.
You're the tech guy.
You work
I
in
have
tech.
I have issues with people and the way they treat their stuff. I don't have problems with the
Any
machine.
any memorable ones from that you can divulge from your job?
The funniest one it
This man's
happened.
man's porn stash was just like completely out of alphabetical order.
So we did have a company where they're like they brought in a laptop and they're like nuke this thing, like wipe everything, clean it off. And we're like, clean it off. And they're like, this guy was watching things
That should not be watched.
that should not be watched at work. And we're like, on a work computer? So yeah, every once in a while we'll see like because we have this software that we can like remote into computers, so we see the last screenshot of what the user was seeing. And every once in a while it's like porn or like Pornhub, and we're like, but yeah, one of the funniest ones we had, it happened to Carlos. It was like, oh, my webcam just doesn't work. Nothing is showing. And it was on a laptop, and we're like, that's weird. And then like all the software was working, everything was fine, all drivers were updated. And we're like, wait a minute. This laptop has a little like
Oh yeah.
physical like thing.
Like a little
I've
slide.
got that before.
And we're like, we just went like, and then it was fine, and we're like, no.
Yeah, because I do a lot of remote work, and people will be like, "Is my camera working?" I'm like, "No, I can't see anything." And you could kind of tell when the camera's on, but you're just getting a black screen. And I'm like, "Is there a cap on it?" And then you could tell they just went like, "Whoop," and it's like it's off.
He was so mad, and I laughed so hard.
Who
'Cause
Carlos was?
Yeah, it was his ticket. So I was just laughing at him. That was
Yeah,
hilarious.
he kind of deserves it. Yeah,
Yeah,
he deserves those calls.
but most of my things, like the hardest thing I had recently was because this guy wanted to keep his computer and his files, but he left the company. So he brought in the computer. He's like, "Hey, just transfer my files onto like an external hard drive, and then wipe it, and I can use it." And we're like, "Okay." And then come to find out, I was like, "Are you allowed to have these files?" So I was like, because it was all from the company, like it all had the company
Oh.
name on it. So I called the company. I was like, "Hey, is he allowed to have these?" And he's like, "Do not do anything before I come review the computer." And I was like,
Oh my
"Oh,
god.
okay."
Giving company secrets.
And he's like, "Although I'm on a plane, so it might be a while." I was like, "We don't have a while because the guy is throwing a fit. He wants it back." And can you like speed up this process somehow? And he's like, "Well, I'm on a plane." I know, but is there someone at the company that can look at it? He's like, "Let me make a call." He makes a call, and then it was the owner of the company. He's like, "Oh no, he's allowed to have the computer and the files. We already agreed to it." I was like, "Jeez." So for a minute, I thought he was like trying to steal a bunch of information.
Yeah.
Corporate espionage.
Yeah. But it's just people that have issues with not
Not
the
the
machine.
actual technology. What about you, Thomas?
I mean, recently I had to do like online training with my job, and they have like the SOPs, which is the standard operating procedures. But the thing is apparently people were stealing the SOPs and selling them to competitors. So
SOBs for taking SOPs is a
Yeah.
full ordeal.
Oh!
Someone was giving Jared the laptop
Yeah,
so
the
they
laptop.
could get the files.
Well, the thing is, I like all these tests and stuff require me to look at these SOPs, but then they were just gone. I'm like, I don't know what to do. They're like, "Oh, we'll just give you the answers." I'm like, "For my training?" "Oh yeah, you worked with this company long enough. You don't need to be trained." I'm like, "Did you do this with everybody? Because like none of the SOPs are here." Like, "Oh, don't worry about it." I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be, but
It's like
okay.
the forklift license at that one place we worked at,
Oh my
Thomas.
God. Look at it. Okay, yeah, you're certified.
You see that? That's a forklift.
No, that's how it went.
Mine was like, "Hey, I don't have time for this. You're certified.
You're
I'll
certified.
just keep an eye on you for a
yeah.
while."
Here, sign this card and keep it with you. There you go.
I don't have time for this.
That's unfortunately that's a lot of industrial warehouses. They're like, "Oh, have you ever done this before?" "No." "Oh, you'll pick it up."
You'll figure it out.
It's not hard.
It's not that hard.
Fine.
It's actually one of the hardest things we've ever done. It's one of the scariest things we've ever done.
I mean,
Uh,
Thomas can't pivot, but
Shut up.
Thomas,
Shut up.
pivot.
No.
He doesn't pivot.
All right.
Besides that though, like recently I had to deal with like what do you call it? AC going out, but that's like different technology. So
Yeah. It's
the heat's
analog.
trying to kill dude, my AC is always trying to kill me, Jared. Like I swear. Well, because we had that. Remember that big old blackout we had in DFW where the heat went out or the AC went out for like 2 days at the
Mhm.
house, and it was like the most miserable thing we've ever been through.
That was the worst. I watched Solo during that.
Why?
I don't know. It was a dumb decision.
Anyway, that's that. There you go.
Were you gonna say something, Michael?
I have one more that just occurred to me. So I work in machinery with a bunch of CNC lathes, big giant turrets that cut metal. And so we just moved into a new shop this past week. And like the one thing you don't want to do is disconnect the batteries when the machines are unplugged, because then they forget like all their positioning. Like it has a home position, which is like 0. So that's where, the turret knows, hey, this is where I am. You don't, and whenever the machine's unplugged, the batteries turn on, so it doesn't lose any memory. These we'll say incompetent electricians who are
We'll
hooking up
say these real stupid people.
hooking up the machines, we've come to find out when we turn on the machine, it wouldn't like rotate the turret. We're like, it's at 0. Why is it rotates? We kind of move around, realize, oh shoot, this thing has forgotten 0. Like the batteries must have died. Oh, because the battery warning came up, but like it must have died. Like, how did that freaking happen? We haven't seen any warnings, nothing whatsoever. Come to find out, the electricians unplugged the batteries whenever they were hooking everything up into it, and so yeah, so like it's an absolute disaster to try and reset this, and I'm not looking forward to it next week at all.
People or machines? What's
Yeah, no, that was people to the machine.
I've been following this like Instagram page called like Electrician's Life, and it's like hilarious. They're like, oh, guess what? They'll like step back. They're like, okay, it's gonna catch fire. Like some just like erupts in like electrical sparks. It's like, why would you work it like this?
All right, so let's go on to a little bit of box office news. So there we go. The Nun 2 edging
Heck
out
yeah.
A Haunting in Venice. So it's a battle of spooky movies this time.
Woo.
Okay, movies.
Wait till Saw X comes out.
Oh
Yep.
god.
The Equalizer 3 still hanging on. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 still there, and Barbie still
Mm.
there. I haven't heard anything about the Nun 2. Have you guys?
No.
I've heard it's like people are going to see it because there's nothing to see.
Yeah. And
I
people
mean, the
love,
first one sucked. I don't know how there's a sequel.
people like the scary movies. A Haunting in Venice I saw recently, so we will talk about that next week, hopefully. And we'll wait for you that. So the other thing that I wanted to show you guys, if you'll just kind of get your oops, I didn't want that. Get your reactions to Aquaman 2. The last of the DCU EU, I think,
Supposedly.
Going frame by frame.
I'm
We're
about to
gonna
say
analyze the crap out of this.
2 frames per minute.
Boy,
is
please.
this Fast and the Furious?
You've got a baby boy.
Maybe.
He was in it. Yeah, it's true.
Jango Fett.
Oh yeah. I never did see the first one,
Really?
What?
so I know nothing about Jason
People,
Momoa as Aquaman.
For some reason, really like the first one.
It's
I've
all
heard.
right. It's not terrible.
It's
It was
ugly
fun.
though.
Yeah, it was fun.
But look at that man, Jared.
I
Does that
know.
man to speak ugliness?
No, but all the CG whales does.
Oh, it's Little Mermaid.
It's the whales.
Ding 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 ding. Oh
So
my
is this-
God.
Black Mantis again.
Yeah,
Say Black Man. Oh, is that a villain?
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's like his villain.
Okay.
James Wan used to direct horror.
Now directs different kind of horror.
James Wan directed that paintball episode of Community.
Jesus fights the fish. And he's ripped his head.
You want to see how I got those infinite loaves and infinite fishes? This is how.
I thought you were about to go with a Joker joke with Jesus. Like, you want to see how I got these scars? I was like, whoa.
Whoa!
Goodness me.
Didn't his brother die on the last one?
No,
No.
they just put him in jail.
Fish jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, fish show.
Fish jail.
Put him in
Davy
the
Jones' locker.
This looks like it's on the level of Green Lantern to me. But
The Ryan Reynolds one.
yeah.
I will never forgive you and Alex for that, by the way.
I don't remember literally a single second of that movie.
Oh no, it's not that. It's the story of me.
Oh, because you went to the theaters by yourself.
I went to the movie theaters by myself because
I
I
forgot
thought
about
Alex
that.
and Michael were gonna come to like watch it with me, and they're like, "No, we went to go see Mr. Popper's Penguins with our sister."
Oh,
I'm
that was,
like,
that was our
I'm
whole
s-
family though.
And I'm
Our
like,
whole
I'm
family
stuck
went.
here with this stupid movie.
Mr. Popper's Penguins is really good though.
I never saw
Green
it, but I love the
Lantern
book.
wasn't.
Did you enjoy Green Lantern?
No.
Oh, man.
Our
I
dad
have
watches
no
it every
memory of that
time it comes
movie.
on TNT.
Do you think that's someone's most watched movie?
Green
Probably
Lantern?
Yeah,
It has to be
gotta
somewhere.
be someone out there who loves that version of Ryan Reynolds that much.
We would like to meet that person. If you know him in the comments, tell them to
If
hit
you
us
happen
up.
to know that person, let us know.
We'll talk Green Lantern with him. Yeah, so Aquaman 2, Michael hasn't seen the first one.
Do your homework, Michael.
Did this one get you the itch to see the first one?
I mean, no.
No.
Is what's her face Johnny Depp's wife still in it? Was that her?
Supposedly she's in one tiny frame of this trailer.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. I saw her like go like
Yeah.
lunge up, whatever.
That she's like in prison and she's like,
Hmm.
let me out, let me into the movie. And they're like, no, we don't want you. in
Let
this
me into the movie.
You might poop on the bed for some reason.
um,
Oh my.
Jared, you said you loved the first one.
No, I said some people for some reason
Oh,
love
I
the
thought you
first
said-
one.
Okay.
I think it's ugly as heck. I didn't-
Jared has a chest tattoo of Jason Momoa. He's
Oh,
not even-
Jesus.
It's got that terrible cover of Africa in it.
Oh,
Does it?
Yeah, by Pitbull, I think it is.
Mm.
why would they cover? Why would he cover Africa?
His arrogance, Thomas.
Just use Weezer. Jeez.
Kids don't like Weezer.
Yeah, kids hate
Use
Weezer.
Danny
Stupid.
Avedam from Ninja Sex
That's
Party.
stupid.
Yes, Michael. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be nice actually.
Did anyone get to see the Napoleon trailer?
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I did. I think I did watch it. Yeah,
looks awesome. Pretty hyped to
It's
actually.
pretty interesting, yeah.
I saw a weird interview where, or it was a clip of an interview where Joaquin Phoenix was talking about how like when he first started in Gladiator, he was such a kid and he didn't know anything. That he's been looking forward to working with, what's his face again all this time.
Ridley
So,
Scott. Yeah.
yeah, I was
Ridley.
like that's pretty cool.
Fun
All right.
fact: Napoleon is the most successful military commander of all time. If you go percentages wise, he has more wins than losses than any commander in history.
Really?
That's why he's called the master.
He liked his war.
He was a genius. is what he was a literal genius. It's kind of I've been reading a lot about him actually. He's a very interesting man.
Interesting. And average height. He was not.
Yeah, he was not
Was not a
small.
tiny man.
That was not. That was weird.
I
And,
think
like,
that was just the world getting back at him. being like,
Well, it was the propaganda is what it was. But the thing is, it was so successful that for years, like for centuries, people thought he was like 5 foot something.
One of the armies that lost. Did you see him? He's short as heck.
Yeah,
And then and then it spread. And Napoleon's like, what?
yeah. I'm fairly sure he's like 5'6", 5'7" is what he was.
5'7".
Yeah, which is like back then that was actually kind of on the tall side. So, but
It always blows my mind that like America was happening at that time. Like we
well,
were.
no, that's
we were around.
that's more of like the what I'm reading about is the transition from the French monarchy to the revolution to their really terrible form of government to when Napoleon took over. He's like, no, it's going to be my empire and just the expansion of the French empire, which is insane. Didn't last long at all, but it was so fast. So they compared him to Alexander the Great, but he conquered more. So it's kind of insane.
Even more than Genghis Khan.
No, nobody conquered more than Genghis Khan, but the amount of actual battles, Napoleon has won more than Genghis. Genghis just like had territory beyond,
Yeah.
like I don't even. That's
Huge,
just nuts.
yeah.
Yes, huge.
Obscure fact is that Napoleon invented fondue.
And the croissants. Well, he didn't invent them, but he made them popular.
I was just saying that. I don't know.
I didn't know.
I wanted to see if you guys were like, really?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know about fondue, but he did popularize the croissant because he liked this little
Whistle.
What-
little pastry that they had, and I think it was somewhere in the Middle East. He's like, no, these are French now, and now they're French.
I do like a croissant. Like
A
a real
croissant?
good one. A real good one.
Whistle. I love that video. That's
Little
the
peels.
I went to go get a croissant.
best. A whistle. I like some like honey butter melted on there. It's
Mm.
good.
I like them as a sandwich.
Yeah.
Croissant.
They are good as, dude. A chicken salad sandwich croissant.
Oh yeah. Pretty
Pretty
good.
damn good.
Decadent fool.
It is decadence. It's like, what is this, butter bread? Oh,
Oh, he's probably the guy that puts like pecans and grapes in his chicken salad.
I do. I do.
What a fancy man.
I am.
What a decadent dandy man.
I might even have some fig Newtons with them. You never
Oh
know.
my god.
What?
That was disgusting.
What?
He was in his room one time watching like Downton Abbey with like fig Newtons and tea. I was like, what are you doing in here?
He's like, there are fruit and cake.
I even had my legs crossed like this, going like,
He's like, will you join me for a spot of tea? And I was like, no.
and it wasn't Downton Abbey, it was The Crown. I was watching The
Mm.
Crown because I was like, Jared, come take a look at this. It's the most British man ever. And he is very British.
And she was like, I don't like what's going on.
This is disgusting.
Another cool trailer I saw was Godzilla -1. Have you guys seen this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks very-
Surprisingly.
I love how Tokyo looks in this movie. Post-war Tokyo looks so cool.
It's
So
very
that,
like high budget for like a
yeah,
or like it doesn't have that kind of that CG look that most of them have like that. I don't know. It looks very
yeah, like what we've been
impressive.
getting from the American
Yeah.
versions now. But yeah, that comes out in December, so hopefully we can catch
I always
that.
get excited when I see my boy just coming out of the water and then his theme music plays. That's always
Oh.
fun.
So I still haven't seen Shin Godzilla,
What?
but I
Shame.
did
Shame on you.
learn that Shin Godzilla is actually part of a little movie universe,
Mhm.
and it has like Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider. So I kind of want to check those out. So
If you watch
Kojima-
the English dub of that movie, it's a lot of Funimation guys. And Todd Hepburn is like the main dude.
yeah,
It's very distracting because you're just like, why is Natsu so scared of Godzilla?
use that fire.
yeah, it's like I think it's exclusively a Funimation dub, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably why I haven't found it anywhere streaming. So let's get to our watch list. What did you guys watch? Michael, you can go since you look bored.
He's like, I watched Star Trek and Gundam.
Star Trek and Gundam. It's all I did. No, I only watched 2 things though, Jared.
Oh
Close.
my god.
Well, I only completed 2 things. I'm not gonna like go on episode by episode. I did watch a little bit more of Fiona and Cake, which is great, but we'll continue on whenever that's done.
It's great.
Only 2 things I watched. I'm glad you're here, Jared, because I watched The Big Short finally.
Oh my god, after a
After-
decade.
After,
Finally.
like literally, yeah, probably very, very long time. Movie's flipping incredible. Like well, firstly, I didn't know anything of what it was about. If anyone listening doesn't know what it's about the housing market crash of 2008 and the lead up to it and how certain people predicted it.
Michael, we all know you're the last person to know.
I know. I didn't know it at all. I was the last person. I doubt Alex. Alex doesn't know. There's no way he knows what that movie's about.
Yeah.
He's like, I read the book.
But
He's
yeah,
like, I was there.
I got
All I
hit
kept-
bad by the investments.
but he like, oh god, what was I gonna say?
No.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like I kept watching it and thinking this had to be like an editing nightmare. Like there are so many clips thrown into this movie, like especially when they do like the montage and the time jumps and everything that's happening at once. Like there's so much crossover between sound and picture, and everything. I was just like this is just how the heck do you keep track of all that? That's one thing I want to see someone's like layout of a full movie and how they edit it. Because they have to have everything, like, do they go label everything first? Like, this is matching with this audio and this matches with this audio. I don't know. It's very mind boggling, confusing to me. Because I can't think of an easy way to keep it organized and do well. I don't know, but anyway,
I always feel like Christian Bale from that movie because he's always listening to metal in his office, and I do whenever like Carlos is out. I just blare metal in my office.
Hey,
Yep.
no one tell Michael about the GameStop stock thing.
No.
movie.
We'll come back.
I know
10
about that
years.
movie. Don't tell me. Don't. I forgot what it's
That
called.
movie just makes me angry.
But yeah, you going off that, Jared, like all the performances in this were so good. Like the Christian Bale was so, and it was interesting because they never really they never crossed paths with him at all. He was just kind of his own separate
Yeah.
storyline the whole time, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
I actually like Ryan Gosling in this.
Ryan Gosling was so good in this. Is just yelling at him treating his poor little like henchman all the time. He's like, shut up. Just shut up. Just sit down. It's like, gosh.
It's like, how you feeling? Object.
Yeah, he was very extreme and over the top. And then Steve Carell, man, doing that voice all that, like his story just alone was super emotional and heart-wrenching, and like how he was kind of just an actually good guy, which is interesting.
I like that performance a lot from him, but then somebody pointed out that he just talks like Prison Mike from The Office,
I
and it ruined it.
I literally just watched that episode.
And I was
Yes,
just like,
this afternoon.
Oh, no. Because then you actually like look at the actual interview, interviews of like the actual guy. He talks like that. He really does
Really?
talk like that. But the thing is, all I could hear was like, you know what was worse about the prison? The Dementors.
The Mentos. It's like your soul. I just
Took
watched
your soul
that.
out your body.
Oh man. But yeah, thought it was a really good movie.
Have
the only-
you read the book at all?
have you heard? Sorry, what?
Have
No,
you
I've
read the
not.
book?
I didn't know about the story, Thomas.
I
Why would I
recommend-
why would I have read the book?
I recommend the book because it goes into a lot more detail, but it is very digestible. It isn't, because that's something that the movie does pretty well, I think, is that it pauses. They're like, okay, I know this isn't making a lot of sense, but here's an analogy to help you.
I love they
describe
get Margot Robbie, Selena Gomez, and that one dude, and then some chef. I was like,
Anthony
what the
Bourdain.
heck? They just explain stuff. I was like, why? But I love
Yeah,
that.
that was fun. Yeah.
But yeah, very good movie, very good movie. And then the only other thing I watched last night, kind of in the middle of nowhere. I watched The Thing, starting my spooky movie season. Never seen The Thing before. Heard it was amazing. Always was like, I doubt it is.
It's an
But you've
instant
never seen this?
classic.
I've
You've
never seen it.
this?
I've never seen it.
It's one
And
of
so
the best horror movies ever
I was
made.
like, everyone's
Yeah.
all like, that's why I kept putting off. I was like, everyone's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I was like, it's not gonna be that good. It was that good though. I was
It made
impressed.
my best of all time, Michael.
I was very impressed with this
Yeah,
movie.
Kurt Russell.
And
yeah. And that
normally
beard.
true.
That beard.
It's got Wilford Brimley.
It had Keith David very
Yeah,
young.
Keith. David,
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
I was like, whoa. The only thing I'm iffy on this movie is the actual ending. Not like the choices they made and how it ends, but just like,
Really,
it
That's
felt
like-
abrupt to me.
That's like my favorite.
it is
part.
an abrupt ending.
I like the ending. I like the idea of the ending, but I felt like I kept waiting. I was waiting for it to fade out of black, but then it went to credits because I was like that felt too abrupt. I like the idea, but it felt like it was just like slam, it's over. I was like, oh god. But I still liked it a lot. Keith, I almost said Keith David. Kurt Russell, like you said, his beard, his eyes in this movie, like he has a piercing eyes in this movie. I was like, good lord, man, stop looking. It reminded me of someone I couldn't figure out who, but normally like I like Kurt Russell a lot and stuff, but he kind of gives off a cheesy vibe to me in a lot of roles. Not at all in this. Like he did.
Oh,
this is
okay. I was just
easily
like-
my favorite. No, no.
I was like, hold on.
This was easily my favorite role of his.
He's like, I don't like Kurt Russell.
He did such a good job with this. But yeah, the movie very like it's when was this made? When was Alien made?
80.
This was
Alien
in
was
1982.
70.
This was in 1982. Had the same
Yeah.
release date as Blade Runner.
Yeah.
What was Alien? Which one
Alien
came
was
first?
79.
Okay,
I
so
think?
Alien
79.
came first.
Oh.
Okay,
Yep.
still pretty close to other. But yeah, just kind of like spawned that, I guess, kind of
Dude, 80s horror, outer space horror was happening, man.
that hide and go seek
Also,
horror
this
is
was
what I'm
the
gonna call it.
same. This came out on the same release as ET. Unfortunately,
Really?
this was a box office bomb when it came out
Oh,
because
dang,
of
that's
ET.
sad.
Yeah,
You know what else was a
Another
box
movie I
office
really need to
bomb?
rewatch.
The Thing 2, the prequel, or whatever that thing was called.
Yeah,
Was that a remake
Uh,
or a prequel?
It's a prequel.
prequel?
Okay.
Alex took me to see that.
Yeah, I remember that. You guys
Yeah.
didn't
Why do
like
you
it?
let these guys take you to the movie? Or not take
Or
you?
not
Okay,
take
it wasn't. That was a whole other thing. That was my birthday. I just got hit by a drunk driver on my 21st birthday. Alex felt sorry for me. He knew I loved the thing. He's like, I love Mary, whatever her name is, Winston.
Elizabeth, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go see this. He's like, it was kind of good. I'm like, no, that was not good, Alex. It was not good.
Sad.
The best
No.
trivia for that is that they did it all practical, and then the studio is like, nope, CG it.
Yeah.
That's what sucks.
What the
Yeah, 'cause
heck?
The practical effects are just disturbing in that first one.
Yeah,
like,
that's legendary.
the
effects
wacky
right there.
faces and
Did you have a favorite scene
of those of like the yuck stuff?
of the yuck stuff, or and in general?
Just anytime they were outside with a flare, just looked so cool. I loved the look of the like. It's just such a perfect fitting of that blue and red contrast. And everything looks super cool.
The original movie, people like. I can't remember if I've seen it. It's a black and white film.
The thing from outer space,
Yeah,
or from another world. Sorry.
I didn't realize this wasn't
I-
the original.
yeah. I can't remember if I've seen it now because there's one that's very similar to it, but I think I have.
A lot, they're kind of different, but
Yeah,
they
yeah,
draw
it's
from the
different.
same inspiration. Or
Yeah, from the book.
Who Goes There by Joseph F. Campbell.
Yeah,
Yes.
you could get deep into this lore, this
The-
thing lore, Michael.
that poor dog in the cage with the other.
What did
with the
I
alien.
say? What did I say, Michael?
The one
What
that
did
got
I
sprayed.
say?
You, Tom, I because I put it up on Instagram that I was starting my spooky movie season, and Tom was like, "Don't watch it with your dogs." It's like too late. Hattie didn't care at all. Hattie was literally just bringing me the ball, but Coda's just watching TV, like, "What's happening up there?" It's like it's okay.
Oh yeah. What did you say, Jared? That dog that got sprayed though? Like
That was yucky in the corner.
Yeah.
He's-
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just like, oh.
Then the crazy doctor goes back and axes them all. I was like, Jesus, dude. But yeah, the characters were really good in this movie.
Dogs were traumatized in this movie.
That's what I always think. I always think that whenever like old movies like this, like that we talked about the horse in that one movie that just fell, where like that thing probably happened, and then like the dog is just like obviously being sprayed by this goop, and it's just like stop, leave the dog alone.
What do you guys think of doing a horror list in this October?
oh hell yeah. I'm so down.
Yes.
I need to watch a lot more horror.
Oh, I
Okay.
have so many recommendations.
They got to be
Uh-oh.
good though. I don't
They
want,
will
like-
be.
don't
That's
want-
all I give you.
I don't want poo poo horror.
I only give you quality. House Sue.
That was Thomas.
Uh,
He liked it too.
Yeah, it's fun to make.
I
I don't
was
know
like,
why.
me?
I don't get the
No.
hate. It's fun to make fun of.
God, that movie.
I can't believe they're so mad. It didn't make sense.
Oh,
I know.
It was hilarious.
I was
It's just a
so
silly
mad watching that
movie.
movie.
It's just one-
It's
it's
not
one-
a silly movie.
That's one of my favorite episodes ever. Is
the
that
cosmet on the eyes.
just their not just their anger, but their it was rage.
It was rage.
Rage.
We were gripping the couch watching this movie, just like, oh my god, why are we sitting here through this? Why are we doing this? Could be doing anything else, but we're watching this flipping long movie about just garbage.
All right. Was that
That's
your
what
two
gets-
movies?
Yeah,
that's what gets
my
views,
Two.
Michael. That's what gets views.
That's my two.
Jared, you want to give your 2 cents?
I just watched a lot of YouTube this time.
All right.
I don't think I watched any. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with YouTube. So the first shout out is to Jay's reviews. He does a lot of Mega Man stuff. He recently got into, well, not recently, but like he didn't start off with Mega Man like back in the day on the NES, but he's gotten into it now and he loves it, and he's been reviewing a bunch of stuff like what's that new one, X Dive, the mobile game. He has a video of like, is it even worth it? And
Is it even worth it?
is it even worth trying if you're a huge fan of it? And he's like, it's cool to see all like the references and like journal entries, but it's not a fun game to play. And I thank him a lot for that, because I've been thinking about, should I try it? But and then another's channel called C, like the SEA, just goes over a lot of space stuff, like
they're
deep space stuff.
shitty.
I know, it's weird. Just like the one I recently watched was about super voids, and that was pretty cool. And then
Also terrifying.
Yeah, space is terrifying.
Yeah.
That's what scares me whenever I watch videos of that.
Please.
And then a guy called Novum, he just does a lot of deep dives into movies. The recent ones that I watched from him is The Green Knight and The Lighthouse. He has some cool insight on those. And then the last one I wanted to shout out was Summoning Salt. He did a video of the level 5-2 of Mario Lost Levels and like speedrunners, and how that level in particular was so hard to speedrun because it has one of the parts where you get on the vine and you have to climb, and then there's like a little cutscene of just speedrunners trying to figure out how to like
Do that fast.
cut that out so they can get the fastest time. And they figured out that they could glitch into a pipe, push down, and it actually just shoots them up there.
Don't understand speedrunning.
It was crazy. Like watching the video, I was like stressed out. I was like, oh my god, how can they? Because time stuff always stresses me out, like car racing games and stuff like that. Just like, oh my gosh, watching this, I was just like, the amount of screaming that I would do trying to come up with this stuff. But it was an awesome video. That's pretty much all I watched.
Thomas, what do you got for this?
I did some YouTubing myself. I watched a lot of
You watch some
Red Letter-
Cowboys, Thomas?
Yeah, I did.
My Carhartt models.
Hell yeah. Watched a lot of Red Letter Media, especially their Best of the Worst series. It's just been doing a lot of studying, and just having them on in the background is just like, it's great. It makes me laugh, so it kind of like helps de-stress me. They had this one where it was this video of like it's supposed to be like a tour of like how like airlines work, but apparently it was like some kind of scam where this guy just took a video camera on there and just like filmed his family and then marketed as like a video. So that was the whole video. It was just him and his family on the plane. There was no information or whatever. It was just them on the plane. And it even had a 1-800 number, and Mike called it, and he's like, oh my god, they're picking up, and they handed it off to Rich, and he's like, hey, Mr. So and so, I'm on a plane right now, and the pilot's knocked out. I'm not sure how to land this thing, so if you could give me a call back, that'd be great. Time's kind of the essence, so yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Click.
Have you watched the one where they go over metal band names? Rich and Mike.
Oh yeah, I have. Where here's the list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one's funny.
I love how he always prints out his lists for
Yeah,
everything that he does.
he's old.
Yeah. Well,
Dang.
no, Jay's like, you can put him on your phone. He's like, what am I, some kind of scientist?
I
No.
love their trivia ones, like the
Oh,
the Star
for the-
Trek trivia, and then like the David Lynch one.
Yeah. Have you seen the one with Jay and Josh, the Twin Peaks ones?
Yeah.
That was a good one. But also in there, I watched their movie Space Cop. I actually bought it.
Oh, you got that?
I got it. Yeah. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's just like the cinematography, the acting, I'm kidding. It's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. It's terrible. But it is funny. Like Rich and Mike are like, they've always wanted to make a movie, I think, and this is like their big time to shine. And what's funny is that I have it on Amazon, and so you know how Amazon has like the credits for whoever's in the scene. It pulls up the credits, and for Mike and Jay, their credits are like a few like TV shows, and then Never Been Kissed because they were both extras in there. So that was all. Yeah,
I love when Mike whenever he pops up in things like Smiling Friends.
Smiling Friends, yeah. Well, because he even mentions like, oh, I wish I could just put a gun to my head and blow my brains out. That made me think of Smiling Friends, because when I first meet him, he's like, hey guys.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to give a shout out to Wendigoon. He got 3 million subs yesterday.
Must
So
be
that's
nice.
it's pretty cool. But
Did you watch
also-
his Faith video or whatever that game's called?
No, that's on my list though.
That was a good video.
But I did watch his so I finished Paradise Lost, the book, and I went through his review analysis, one of those things, what it's called. Really good. There's a lot more to it though. He has a few more videos based around that, so I'm thinking about reading Inferno again, just so I could like watch the review afterwards or the analysis afterwards. So we'll see. And then besides that, I watched quite a bit of Grantham. He's a gun tuber I really like. He's a pretty cool guy. I think I told you he's the one. I did the one shout out post on my Instagram for him and Post Malone, and then I called him Senpai, and he actually like watched the story. So I was like, oh no. But he has a really cool Mac 11 video. It's a submachine gun. It's the fastest machine pistol in the world.
Thought it was a rapper for a second.
Well, he did do one called the Draco. He's like, why are
Mac
rappers
11.
why are rappers obsessed with this thing? And then for some reason, I decided to watch Psych again.
The whole thing?
I'm on season 3.
Did you finish it?
You gotta finish it this time, Thomas.
I have to finish it, Joseph. I'm
Gotta do
watching it through it.
Guys,
It's a beautiful-
he's
it's a
never
beautiful
finished
thing.
it. He's
It's a
never
It
beautiful
is.
finished it.
It's so good though. Like the first 2 seasons so far, I've been laughing my butt off. Like especially the American Duos episode. I mean, Tim Curry is just amazing. He's like, it's like I feel like I've been incarcerated in Blueberry. It's like this car makes me want to weep and then die.
Oh, I love that show.
I do too. It's so good. And it's bringing back so many memories too, because I watched this in high school. So, yeah. And also, did Maggie Lawson get hotter as the seasons go
I
on?
think so.
Is that-
Rewatching it, I was like, why are you? I guess I'm just older now. And so I
Yeah,
appreciate it
I
more. Like,
I don't really
very
get it.
attractive now.
I was just like, she just gets hotter. Like, how is that possible?
Is that how you watch it with your hands on your chin?
Yeah, I do. I'm just like,
so
excited. Huh? This is interesting. I've never seen this before. No, I'm on season 3 now. Season 3 is pretty great. I just did the Daredevil episode, so that's a good one.
Classic.
The Bounty Hunters episode is one of my favorites because that one's hilarious.
So ridiculous. I love
It's
it.
so funny. Kevin Sorbo is amazing in that. Yeah, I love Psych, and I'm going to finish it this time, Joseph. So shut up.
Yeah, we might have to do something for that when he finishes it.
Wait, okay, so to finish it though, I need to watch all 3 movies, right?
I have not seen the third movie, but you know,
Okay.
I mean, you really just need to watch the musical and then through season 8 because the movies were after the show.
Yeah, I know, but still, I mean,
There's 3 movies?
Yeah, they like every year or two they come back together and they do a movie.
Weird.
Yeah, it's fun.
Tim Curry was in one of them.
Was he? He
so-
must have been doing because he wasn't in the first 2.
Yeah, we'll see. But happy to watch that again, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Can I shut out one more thing before you
Yeah.
go, Joseph?
No,
really
you
not.
only get a few.
It's something me and Thomas both enjoy, but he was rude, so he doesn't enjoy this. He doesn't like them.
He's
Gundam.
not a
Not,
fan.
is the Not So Serious podcast.
Oh,
These are freaking hilarious, and I was surprised to see how their subscriber count is only like 8,000.
yeah.
I thought they were huge because they're hilarious.
I keep getting like clips from them, like people like create reels of their stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm a little upset that people don't credit them as much.
I know they're hilarious. Like every episode, I'm just laughing my butt off because of Mike
It's
and
just that-
some of the stuff he says.
you don't like cheesecake?
But you're huge.
You're huge. Oh, he likes anything. He likes to eat.
How
They're
many
hilarious.
likes are on YouTube?
That's true.
Millions.
They
Tell us, Michael, how many?
Speak for your brethren,
need
They're
like
all
their
big
own
one eventually.
podcast. The whole Mike.
Mike and Mike's.
Mike, how's that about? There's just
All right. My turn?
Mhm.
Okay, not much. Watched 2 Ridley Scott, or not Ridley Scott, Tony Scott.
Oh.
Man on Fire.
Yeah.
That movie is crazy. Have you guys gone back to that movie?
That's
Youth?
the one with Denzel Washington, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's been a minute.
It's
But-
a crazy movie, man.
Movie's
Uh,
great.
I love that
It's
movie.
it's kind of slow too at the beginning, but not like a bad slow, but just like get to know Denzel, you get to know this family, and then they kill him, and you're like, oh, they killed Denzel. But he's okay. They did magic on him or something.
They did magic.
And then we watched Enemy of the State, one of my favorites. I love that movie. Because it's got Gene Hackman.
But say it's Hackman, and
That's the best part of the movie.
it's Hackman being a paranoid, schizophrenic conspiracy theorist is what you like.
I like when he's angry at people. I don't know. He gets angry at Will Smith. He's like, "You're stupid. Why'd you make that phone call?" So after watching those two, Jonah pointed it out. Man on Fire is like the most 2000 movies he's ever seen. And Enemy of the State's like the most 90s movie he's ever seen. Enemy of the State has Jason Lee. It has
Forgot he was in there.
yeah, it has what's his name?
Jack
Jack
Black?
Black. And it
Mhm.
has one more guy. Who is it? Oh, Seth Green. This movie could have been a comedy. It's got Will Smith. This movie could, I want to see the comedy cut of this movie of these guys just making jokes and stuff.
Did Regina King play his wife?
Yeah, she was in it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love her.
she was in it.
I love her.
And then we watched V for Vendetta.
That's
Uh,
weird. So Ben literally just watched that too.
Really?
Yeah.
A government releasing a virus to force compliance?
What?
Preposterous. That would never happen.
No, don't take us down.
I don't know how well that movie's age. It's very more.
Is there a missile outside your window? Is that just mine?
Catch the next episode on Rumble.
We are on Rumble if you want to subscribe there.
Yeah, Joseph predicted you'd talk about this one day.
That movie is very more comic booky than I remember it.
I've never been a huge fan of that movie.
Yeah, it's different.
Who directed that one?
The Wachowskis.
No, they wrote it. They didn't direct it.
They didn't direct it. I thought they directed it.
They wrote the screenplay for it.
Oh,
But
and it does a weird Matrix scene at the end where he's like
Gee.
twirling
I wonder why.
knives
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. It's like weird. I was like, where did
It
this
was-
come from?
Directed by James McTeague.
Oh, that guy.
Well, it's kind of weird that you say it's comic booky, but I think they took out a lot of the comic book parts from like the original stuff
Mhm.
to make it more digestible. Because in the comic, it gets kind of crazy, like even more crazy than the movie. But honestly, I think it made it a little better, to be honest, because I like the ending a little more than the ending for the comic book. I mean, the comic book ending is pretty cool, but I don't know. It's not as digestible, I guess. But
Yeah, it'd be
Um,
interesting to hear you guys watch it again and see if it aged as well as
what's
you guys think.
what's funny is Alan Moore hates it. Like he really
Does
hates.
he?
He hates
Mhm.
all of the
can
adaptations
see
of his comic books.
I
Like
can see that.
even Watchmen, which is literally like the most faithful of of the adaptations.
I do
So,
like how I do like how they have John Hurt as the big brother
Mhm.
guy. He was in 1984, so
yeah.
that's pretty funny. So we watched that. So now comes a part of the episode that I would like to call the Starfield logs.
Oh,
So,
Lord.
so I'm in Cowboy Land, or part of space.
Am I there?
Me and the cowboy, Sam Cowboy guy, we're investigating this starship theft. And we go to the boss of the starship makers. And the marshal guy told me not to upset him because he's kind of a big deal. So I go in there and I sit at the desk because he's talking to another person. So I sit down and wait for them to finish their conversation. But Cowboy Sam, he boldly sits in the boss's chair, just randomly walks up and sits in the boss's chair. Luckily, he didn't care. So, in another part of my investigation, I have had the hardest time keeping health. because I don't buy med packs. I just kind of get the ones that are on the ground and stuff like that. And so we're at this farm. This lady who got, the farm I'm talking about. The pirates were there to take the farm away, or not the pirates, the militia was there to take the farm away for her. And I'm starving. I have no health. I didn't know you could just lay on beds until Carlos told me. So I'm like raiding their fridge and eating stuff. And then we'll get to that later, but then Carlos like, just sleep on the bed. So I sleep on the bed. I still have no med packs. So I go down to where the militia's based.
Sorry,
And
real fast. I hate finding chunks out of the package.
why?
I like when
Huh?
the chunks come in the package. When they're just like on the counter, I'm just like, who did this? Or if you find like the packaging without the chunk, I'm like,
Chunk
I-
of what?
That's what the food's called.
chunks.
They're called
Just
chunks.
food chunks.
Did you play the game, Michael? They're everywhere.
I have had zero. I have never run out of med packs ever. Not once have I run out of med.
I was so desperate for health, I ate a sandwich that had been bitten in.
I ate that sandwich.
So I go down to where the militia's base, still kind of dying with no health, and I'm like, "Oh, I got this. I'll confront them." They start shooting. I'm like dead immediately, so I run off. Their ship is like parked there, so I run and I put down a mine and I hide in their ship. And so Sam Cowboy's like fighting them, and I also have that other ranger that's with me. For some reason, she came with me, but she only has a knife, so she's like
Yeah.
stabbing people, and they get killed. But I'm hiding in the ship. The guys come running in, and it's an incendiary mine. They get caught on fire. So they're like burning to death while they're trying to shoot me. I'm hiding like behind a box, and every once in a while I'll peek out and shoot them. But
Eating his
Basic-
half-eaten sandwich while people are burning.
basically the fire's killing them off, so it kills them off. But then the boss is still alive, and I'm still kind of dying. I put the mine, but he doesn't bite. He's like staying back, so I'm trying to shoot him. But I'm like almost dead. But then all of a sudden, the other ranger wakes up, and she runs at him and stabs him to death. And I'm like, yes, we've done it. We have completed the mission. And yeah, so that's what's happening out in Cowboy Space. So that's my Starfield log for today.
Oh my god!
All I can think of now is like John Wick, like having a sandwich while doing like the.
He's like pulling Skittles out of his pocket.
I do,
Give me
man.
health.
Before I figured out what health, I go into my inventory. I'm like eating. I have water. I have like juice boxes.
Head of
all this
lettuce.
stuff. Yeah, I'm eating everything, man.
One time I had to eat a stick of butter because I was out of med packs.
Those the food
But-
does like it does
Nothing.
not grow your
No,
health at
yeah.
all, though. It's just like
Russian Badger. It's like I got hit by a giant in Skyrim, so I went into my inventory. I ate 80 wheels of cheese to counteract the effects.
and Michael was so wrong about that Red Mile thing. Those stupid things killed me. That was the first time I died. The
Red
monster,
Mile.
Red Mile?
Oh,
The part of the mission
where you have to go push the button. And
on the ice mountain.
and then they shoot these projectiles that's like automatically hit you.
It's
no
so
matter where
annoying.
you are.
So
Yeah.
annoying. I was like, at first I thought it was the plants that was doing it because the plants were kind of poisonous. So I was like looking around. I was like,
Yeah,
they
I
don't
was
really
like-
have an animation that shows they
Oh.
spit them. I was like, what is going on?
I know. I'm like, am I
Finally.
in a minefield? Why is stuff exploding? So I just had to run, hit the thing, because I wanted to loot the stuff because it looked like they had good stuff, but I had to run, loot the thing, and then I'm running back, and I'm trying to get in the elevator, and the monsters are all there killing me, and I can't push
Munching
the
on my
elevator
sandwich.
button. So that was the first time I died. And then Carlos was like, he had said something like, "Stop dying." I was like, "I never die." Now I'm constantly dying ever since he said that. And then this one part I found the ship and they're like, "Hey, you want to do trading?" So like, "Sure, I'll buy 12 med packs." So I go to this mission and I'm thinking I have 12 med packs. The med packs are still on the ship. So I have 2 med packs and I have to finish a mission like that. So I'm very good at hiding and just letting the enemies take care of themselves.
Just letting them all fight it out.
so I'm still mad at like the robot getting in my way, but I'm even more mad because Cole will get in my way, or Co, or whatever the freak
He
his name
stands in doorways.
Because he's a little man. The robot makes sense. He's this big, but Cole is this big, and he still gets in my way, and I'm like, I hate all of you. So I tell them to stay at the ship. I'm like,
I was just like, you can
enough
go
of you.
alone.
I wish you
Oh,
could
man.
tell them to move or do something because they
Just
they
stand over there.
Take the left side. I'll go right.
and then they stand in doorways, and I'm trying to get out of the doorway,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
just like
obnoxious.
standing
What
in there.
the God.
That's like a space like game thing. Like I remember Angry Joe reviewing Alien Colonial Marines, and like the AI, the other Marines would always just like get stuck in the door, and you couldn't move. You couldn't shoot them because friendly fire's turned off. Like he was like chunking grenades at them. Like he's just like move.
Oh, I forgot
Also-
to mention, I get back to the little base where the Rangers are, and they charge me fines for eating stolen food, and I'm like, what the heck, man?
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of my stupid story in this dumb game. So I went somewhere, I was doing some crazy big mission, whatever, ended up accidentally, like Jared said last in our games podcast, yeah, I accidentally picked up a hammer on some random place, whatever. I get back,
Oh my god, dude.
I get scanned when I'm going back to main Atlantis, whatever the heck it's called. And like, yo, you got some stolen merchandise. Well, first I was eating something. I was like literally, I was just waiting for it to load, whatever, and they're like scanning. And he's like, you must comply or hey, like accept our intercoms, or we're gonna shoot you. And I'm like trying to put my bowl down again. So I ended up getting blasted and blown up. So I had to like, go travel back there again. And I'm like, fine, I accept it. I go in, and they're like, hey, there's this whole big deal. I'm arrested. I'm sent to the thing. They take all my stuff away. He's like, hey, buddy, you're a criminal. And like, you can either be a criminal and pay us or go to jail, or you can work for us. And I was like, sure, whatever. So there's 4 factions in the game that you can do. One of them is what you guys are doing with the cowboy on Elite or whatever, where you go.
I love in this game if it's like you're a murderer, but if you work for me and do
Yeah.
my favors,
Yeah.
I'll let you off.
Do something for me. And so yeah, so this leads into me joining the Vanguards to go undercover with the Crimson Fleet with that faction. And it was 3 days. It was Monday through Wednesday. I'm doing this. Every day after work, I come home, I get on.
I punch in, I punch out. I hate these
I'm
people.
living the party here.
I'm doing my thing. And literally both Monday, we were on Discord. I think Jared was on Discord Tuesday, and Carlos was on Discord all 3 days while we were playing. And I was like, Carlos, I haven't shot my gun in 3 days.
Yeah.
I've played this game for 3 days and I haven't shot anything. I need to shoot something. I was
He was
losing
getting
my
mad.
mind because it's a very long quest, especially if you want to do it in the type of, you can choose. You can either, hey, you did a bad job with this thing. You killed a bunch of people, or, you did a good job. Hey, here's your reward. And I'm like, darn it, I'm going to be the good guy. I'm going to try and do it without killing anyone or doing anything bad. You're trying to work for the the Galactic Space Force, or whatever the heck they're called, Vanguards, and so the whole time I'm trying to do everything right. There's a sneaking mission that's really, really, really bad. I was surprised because Carlos got on Wednesday and he was like vehemently frustrated with it. And Carlos is a Bethesda fanboy. Nothing's wrong with it, but he was so pissed at this mission. I was like, I told you yesterday. I was doing this yesterday. I told you it sucks. And so finally, at the end of Wednesday, I finally got to shoot my gun after 3 days of just talking to people.
He's all pent up.
It was awful. I
Did
was
you-
like, I was like,
Bloodthirsty.
I was just going crazy on everything. I was like, everything
Did
needs
you
to
guys-
die.
Come across that dude, that Irish man that sings shanties in space.
No.
Not yet. Or I've seen videos of that. Yeah.
I was like, your song made my day, and he's like, oh, you made mine, and then he's warped out of
I've
the
not
universe.
come across it. Have you come across the like French collector or whatever he is?
French collector, no.
He just has like a bunch of artifacts on his
Oh,
ship
I
and
think-
everything.
I think I met him on Planet actually.
Oh, interesting.
yeah, he was on New Atlantis.
Interesting. Yeah, he has like this
Um,
ridiculous ship with all these like fancy
I
artwork and
found
everything.
a random legendary weapon. Like it was just on some abandoned base, and it's like, okay, cool. It never has
Thanks.
ammo, man.
Dude, I love the old Earth weapons because they kill people.
I
And,
thought I
um,
figured out ammo. I never have ammo, man. I have this incendiary pistol that's pretty good because it like burns them when they're getting shot. So that's pretty cool. I wasted okay, here's another thing. I have this contraband and I want to store it somewhere because I don't want to go through the check yet. Because they're like, yeah, you can, if you can get it through the check, you can sell the contraband. So I'm like, oh, cool, but I'll do that later. I don't want to do that right now. I'm in cowboy space. So I just want a place to put it because I need to go back to a place where they scan your ship. So I'm like, okay. So I've been searching planets, and I'm like, maybe I'll build an outpost or something. And there was this one planet that had a bunch of pirates on it, and man, I wasted all my ammo on these guys. I got no ammo now, and I'm like shooting like the last tiny gun on. It's like taking forever to kill them. Man, I hate that.
So
I've-
did part of the universe come together and they're like, hey, let's make this part Wild West.
I know that's weird.
Space.
That is
That's
kind of weird.
It's just Westworld in space. Like, this will be the western part of the park.
But I did build an outpost. I don't think I finished it because I didn't get to name it or pick crew there or anything. So it's pretty much just the 2 buildings. And I left the contraband there, so I'm interested to see if I go back, will it still be there? Because I didn't have enough material to make a container to put it in. So I could have just left it on the floor. Yeah. So I'm interested to see if it's still there.
It should
So
be,
you
but
have pirate treasure is what you have, Joseph.
Yeah, I'm gonna store it out.
You're
That's
gonna
my
find
plan.
Joseph's booty.
Yeah, that's
Well,
my plan is to get a bunch of contraband and just like put stockpile
It's
it.
just a room full of stuff.
Yeah.
He executes his crew. Dead men tell no tales.
All right. Any last words for that's bonus?
I do. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Go.
4.
I was gonna say 3.
Tom,
Oh, oh, so you said 3?
Yeah, I said 3.
Okay, 9.
9. All right. Tom's is closest. You're picking the movie for me to watch
Oh yeah.
for next time. So
Does
it's
it
gonna
have
be
to be
Thomas,
spooky?
Jared, then Joseph.
Yeah, do it spooky, Thomas.
Okay, it has to be spooky for the
For the
pertaining
season.
months of September and
So
October.
he can make a list.
You don't have to you don't pick now. Just get back to me.
Yeah, I will.
Cool. All right, so that's gonna do it for bonus stuff this week. Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff, and we will see you next time. Bye.